Okay, so your opening day is in the books. Ipswich Town 1, Bolton Wanderers 1. All the excitement, all the emotion of the start of the season. We're leaving with a draw at the end of it. How are you feeling about that?
Overall, on reflection, pretty positive, pretty okay about that. Should have been a win. Big chance at the end, which we'll come on to. But overall, I think I'm okay with that as a point and a performance.
Yeah, I'm the same. It was a tough old opening day, wasn't it? Bolton, one of the form teams of the second half of last season, now being talked about as a real promotion contender, and they showed what they can do in the first 20 minutes. They were on top of Ipswich. I think smothered is a word we were using when we were talking about that. Smothered at a time when the occasion maybe was tough for Ipswich to get into the game, but once they did, they managed to grow into it. But it was a tough old start.
Yeah, but Bolton started the better team, as you say. Big crowd here today, 26,600 odd. Big build up to this, huge positivity, a sea of blue. We can see everyone's bought the home kit, fan zone packed, and as Kieran McKenna said afterwards, it's human nature that will affect you in a certain way. You talked about Bolton smothering Ipswich. I think the weather smothered a few players as well. Very humid, very oppressive, wasn't it? And Bolton had Ipswich pinned in for that first 35 minutes or so, and they took the lead through a penalty with Leif Davis just sort of running across the hills in the box. Maybe a little bit soft, maybe clumsy. I don't know what category you want to put it in, but Morley tucks the penalty away, and Ipswich go 1-0 down. And you're thinking there, look, this is a test of character for everybody. But to be fair, Ipswich responded.
That's a big theme for Ipswich, isn't it? Resilience. We know running towards adversity is a big mantra of this club. It's on the dressing room wall as they walk out, and I think that's probably the thing that would please a lot of people today, that Ipswich kept going. The goal came at a good time for them, the goal that Ipswich scored, that we'll talk about in a minute, but they did keep going and they found a way out of the difficult start, which didn't always happen in games last season. Teams made it hard for Ipswich, couldn't find a way through, but a really nice set piece goal. We're here to
sound the klaxon again.
When was the last time in a competitive game we actually talked about a genuine set piece goal? But they've clearly been working on them, because that was right off the training ground.
It was, yeah. We've seen Ipswich score from 2 set pieces in pre-season. They've clearly been working hard on them, and it just shows you the value of a set piece threat. Ipswich weren't bang at it today. If they'd have gone into half-time 1-0 down, I think the whole mood would be completely different. But they get into the break level thanks to a goal from a corner, and it's something they've worked on. I think you spoke to Lee Evans afterwards. Connor Chaplin, low cut back into the near post, and Lee Evans arrives to really calmly just side foot the ball high into the net under pressure. Pretty similar to the goal that John Jules scored on the run at the near post in the friendly game in midweek. So I think that goal changed the whole complexion of this game, because Ipswich just settled a little bit after that, didn't they? And they finished the first half just starting to find a bit of rhythm, and it was all Ipswich after the break.
Thursday afternoon, that goal was cooked up, so that maybe that training session of the week might be quite productive for Ipswich going forward. But substitutions were big for Ipswich today. 4 came on in the end, and it contributed to a pretty different style game in the second half for Ipswich, and there's some weapons on the bench, aren't there?
Yeah, I always felt at half-time that Bolton might fatigue. I've talked about the weather. There was a high press from them in the first half, and you're just thinking Ipswich had got past that sort of maybe that emotional fatigue that we talked about. Bolton's physical fatigue kicked in, and I always looked at that bench of Ipswich and thought that might change it, and so proved to be the case. Leif Davis straight into the team. Bit of a difficult debut for him, gave the penalty away, he got booked. He was one of the first to come off in the second half. But Ipswich, obviously you can make the 5 substitutions now this year. Ipswich made 4, I think, in that second half. We saw both the number 10s change. Harness, who struggled to really make a mark on the game, and Chaplin came off. And on came Tyrese John Jules and Sonny Aluko in those number 10 roles. Greg Lee came on the left for Davis. And Caden Jackson replaced Ladapo up front, and those 4 really sort of added an injection of pace and energy to Ipswich Town, and they knocked on the door, and that brings us to the last minute and a glorious chance to win it.
Yeah, different questions asked by those 4 compared to the ones that Ladapo Chaplin and co asked. But yes, we get to the last minute in stoppage time, and it's a position that we know Sam Morsey can get into, isn't it? It's he can arrive late. Timing of the runs are great. The cutback from Caden Jackson was great. That's something he's good at. But we have seen Morsey before not finish from that position, and he'll be irritated tonight not to have won that game for Ipswich, because aside from that he had another really good game from the captain. It's just a shame the finishing touch wasn't there.
Yeah, I think it was Burns who raced away to set that one up at the end, but Jackson and there had been so many chances of a similar ilk. I think Jackson had pulled one back that John Jules didn't quite connect with, and huge roar as Burns nicked the ball on the right, raced away and cut the ball back, and time seems to slow down. Sam Morsey, as he so often does, times his run late into the box and anywhere but where he put it, and it's a goal, but the left-footed effort lacked a little bit of conviction, and goalkeeper James Trafford managed to keep it out with his legs, and the roof would have been raised here if that had gone in, and everyone would have floated away on a real high after an opening day win. But overall, I think on reflection, a draw's not the end of the world. I think Bolton are a team that will be up there this season. So we're off. Game number one done. Shame it wasn't the win, but overall, I think a lot to take away.
Yeah,
from
I think
that.
so. Platform to build on, and on to Forest Green.